According to my inbox, apparently people are loving grating Parmesan cheese on top of their delicious espresso martinis. I think it's only right that we give this a try, take the bits that we do like, ditch the bits that we don't, and then at the end of the video, we're going to take this weird combination as inspiration to create something that's actually truly delicious using a secret ingredient, so stay tuned for that. Right, let's make some Parmesan espresso martinis. All right, let's give this a taste. Cheers, I think. It kind of works, but also kind of doesn't. You got the really nice kind of Parmesan flavor with the kind of savory, salty umami thing going on. But I'm really sorry, I really don't like the texture. It's like we've gone to all this effort to make a really delicious, well-textured espresso martini, which I actually made a video on last week, which I'll put above. And then we've grated cheese on top, which kind of is like chewy, hasn't melted, but you don't want it to melt, and it kind of feels like the whole thing's curdled. So, a very strange sensation. I definitely don't love it, but I also don't hate it. And I think this kind of makes perfect sense, so I fully understand why people have done this. So, as you'll know, if you follow this channel, I'm a really big fan of putting saline solution or salt in many coffee cocktails. So what people have done here is essentially make an uber drink, but I think it really lacks that elegance. So you've got the sweetness, acidity and bitterness from the espresso martini, you've got the salt, umami and fat from the Parmesan, and this ticks kind of a lot of the taste elements. So fundamentally I do understand this, but I think we can really improve on this. And I think I've got just the idea. All right, so now we're gonna make an umami espresso martini, inspired by our weird kind of espresso martini with Parmesan. And it's gonna stick true to my ultimate espresso martini template, which I'll put at the end of the video, which is gonna start with 40 grams of freshly brewed espresso. You wanna choose an espresso with those kind of stone fruit characteristics, and maybe some chocolate in there, but nothing too acidic. And then we're gonna complement this with 40 mils of frozen vodka, which is gonna be quite neutral and bring the alcohol base to the drink. In the kind of unrefined espresso martini with our Parmesan, I found it was a little bit too bitter. I think the salt and umami kind of covered up the sweetness, so we're gonna slightly boost the sweetness. And I'm gonna go 30 mils of coffee saccharum syrup, which is made from leftover espresso pucks, light muscovado sugar, and a little bit of filter coffee. And then the template usually calls for 1 gram of saline solution, but we're gonna skip that today because we don't add any more saltiness to our Parmesan. So the Parmesan in the first drink kind of brought a really nice kind of salt and umami, and I've got a secret weapon here, which is gonna bring these characteristics without that weird compromise on texture. And that secret ingredient is gonna be white miso. So a few videos ago when I talked about kind of seasoning coffee cocktails and seasoning drinks, I spoke about the massive potential of miso in drinks, which I think is fairly untapped. So white miso is a fermented white bean paste, which is widely used in kind of Asian cuisine. It's kind of a secret weapon in a lot of dishes. And it's got a really nice kind of savoriness, that really nice mouth-watering umami, and a little bit of saltiness. And it just brings a really kind of satisfying, slightly creamy texture with all that really nice umami character to the drink. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to use it here. So in order to add this to the drink, I've made a 1 to 2 kind of miso stock with 1 part of our miso paste to 2 parts boiling water, just dissolved it together. And to our umami espresso martini, I'm gonna add 15 mils of this. So this is probably a little bit more than you might wanna add day to day, but we really wanna kind of see those really nice kind of rich umami notes. So 15 mils of that. We're gonna give this a really good hard shake over ice, but we're not quite done there, so stay tuned. We're gonna fine strain our umami espresso martini into a frozen glass, but we're not quite done there. So because I did quite actually enjoy the kind of flavor of Parmesan, just really not the texture, I'm just gonna finish the drink with a very thin slice of a homemade Parmesan crisp, which is made by just frying Parmesan in a pan, letting it completely cool, and then dabbing out the fat. And this is a really epic garnish for the drink because it brings that Parmesan flavor without compromising any texture. And there we have, my friends, the umami espresso martini, inspired by that strange but kind of smart combination of an espresso martini with Parmesan. Cheers, everybody. That is really delicious. Like, kind of transforms the espresso martini into something completely different. The miso, the espresso, the coffee saccharum all come together to taste like salted caramel, or miso salted caramel, and it's really, really delicious. It's making my mouth water. It's so good. You can have a little taste of our garnish, which will bring our Parmesan flavor. But I really recommend this in moderation because it really intensifies the Parmesan flavor when you fry it. And when you go back to the drink, I just want to keep drinking more and more. It's really satisfying, really, really delicious, and I really do recommend you give this a go. Try the Espresso Martini with Parmesan. It is interesting, and then give this one a go and see which one you prefer. If you do so, let me know how it goes in the comments just down below, or you can also tag me on Instagram at danfellows1 and let me know your thoughts. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Somewhere in the middle? Let me know. If you want to level up either your coffee or your cocktail making skills, you can check out the courses through either Patreon or Skillshare in the description below. And if you found value in this, which I really hope you have, you can subscribe to the channel by clicking just here. So I'll put here my ultimate espresso martini template, and then down here, more kind of espresso martini inspired content. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. So if you're watching this on Espresso Martini Day, have a good Espresso Martini Day, and cheers everyone.